What's up, YouTube? It's your boy DR2727, and this month's video is my Transformers Awards video. And I know what you're thinking, Darren, these aren't Transformers. Why are you showing them? Well, in 2018, I'm branching out past Transformers a little bit, and I want to show some of the non-Transformer figures I got in 2017. And most of the Marvel Legends were a gift from my brother J.R. Horton. Check us out. We have a podcast, Two Brown Boys Talk Toys.com. Is the number 2 Brown, BROWN, Boys, BOYS, Talk, TALK, Toys, TOYS.com. And you can check us out on Instagram at 2 BBTT Show. Again, on Instagram is at 2 BBTT Show. And before we get started, I just want to show these figures again and just say I'm interested in getting outside of Transformers because my masterpiece collection is wrapping up. I think I'm gonna get into Transformers Legend Scale, third-party Legend Scale. That's gonna be my next deep dive, but I'm also exploring the option of these. So before we get started with the Transformers Awards, I just want to show my non-Transformer figures and just say I'm having fun with these. I like Marvel, and we'll see what 2018 holds. I hope you guys have a happy and safe new year. I hope 2018 brings everything you guys want. And without further ado, let's get to the awards. Before we get going with the awards, I want to give a special award to this guy right here, Fans Toys Spindrift for their version of Sea Spray. This guy probably always be a favorite of our household because I used him to propose to my girl at TFCon 2017. And of course, you know, he's not the best representation of Sea Spray. Great company, but my girl is getting into Transformers because I'm into it, and so she may forget every other Transformer name, even though she's trying to remember, but she'll always remember Sea Spray or Spindrift because he was holding her engagement ring when I proposed. So a Lifetime Achievement Award or forever I love this guy award goes to Fans Toys Spindrift. Number 6 on my most surprisingly great purchases of 2017, Generations Brainstorm. With the crap that Hasbro is putting out now with Power of the Primes, Time Returns, and Combiner Wars, basically the let's do the least amount of work to get the most amount of money type approach. Buying this thing was very refreshing. It made me see the potential Hasbro has, and it reminded me of how great the Generations line was, because I have Generations World, I had Generations Double Deal, and I took that line for granted. But for $30, I mean, with the paint, is no waffles, no gaps, solid as a brick. I can't do too much complaining. So my number 6 is Generations Brainstorm because he made me remember how great Generations was. Number 5 on my most surprisingly great purchases of 2017, the Toy World Cone Heads. Look, like everybody, I'm kind of tired of the Seeker mold. Wanted something different, something better than the Seeker mold, and I just took a chance on these guys, and I was blown away. Now I know the detractors will talk about their size and how much bigger they are, and how Toy World's doing their own scale thing, and I talked about that in the previous YouTube video. Go check that out. But I love these guys. They got a lot of paint, a lot of articulation. They got a waist swivel. They have a fun transformation, and I couldn't be happier with these things. So I know Make Toys just did their Seeker mold. Right now, this is my favorite Seeker mold. And if they were to do the original Seekers, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Starscream, I would be all in for it. So my number 5 most surprisingly great purchase of 2017 is Toy World Cone Heads. I forget all their names, but well job, Toy World. Good job, Toy World. They're really good toys. Number 4 on my most surprisingly good purchases of 2017 is Bad Cube's Grunt, their gears. Look, I got this toy and I played with this toy for like 2 weeks. I thoroughly enjoyed this toy. I love the vehicle mode. I love the robot mode. The transformation was okay for Bad Cube. The accessories were cool. The little turn your face gimmick is cool. I really love this toy. I have no complaints about it. Well, the only complaint is that if it had a paint finish all over it, it would be fantastic. I know some people aren't as big on this toy as I am, but I love this toy. I think I've got my money's worth out of this toy, and I don't need another Gears. So number 4 on my most surprisingly great purchases of 2017, Bad Cube's Grunt or their version of Gears. Number 3 on my most surprisingly great purchases of 2017, the KFC Junkyards, that Crash Hog and Dump Yard, Red Garden, the generic Junkion. Like most everybody, we all know the reputation KFC and its Transbox has. And I wasn't expecting that much, but when I got them, I was amazed. They got great accessories, great articulation. Transformation is interesting, although frustrating in some parts. And, you know, if they had more paint, they would be really, 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 really good. But the reason that surprised me is because, again, this is coming from a company that doesn't have the best relationship with its fans or the best representation with the products. And we're going to talk more about S Transbox in another video, but this is probably their best release from a holistic standpoint between this and their Cosmos. But this is probably where it at least does most everything at least passable. Normally they do some things great and some things horribly. This is the first one release where they did mostly everything at a C plus to B level or better. So for that being said, and they've outgrown their reputation with this release. Good job, KFC. My number 3 most surprisingly great purchase of 2017, the KFC Junkions. Number 2 on my most surprisingly great purchases of 2017, DX9 Richtofen, or their version of Power Glide. Secretly, I'm a DX9 fanboy on the low, and all their releases, like Sugar got my most surprisingly great toy of 2016 award, and this is number 2 on my most surprisingly great toy purchase of 2017. I was just blown away by this guy. Great paint, great size, great accessories. They just really gave a damn when they made this toy. And the only few nitpicks you have about it, or I have about it, is the feet and kind of how the wings, how they don't connect to the torso in robot mode. Other than that, this toy was fun to play with, fun to transform. I didn't really have any problems with it. I love this toy. So my number 2 most surprisingly great toy of 2017, DX9 Richtofen. And my most surprisingly great purchase of 2017 is the Unique Toys Swatter, or their version of Sandstorm. Look, this guy's, if you've seen any reviews on this guy, he's exactly what they say. The transformation is tedious. His proportions are kind of wonky. He doesn't have enough paint, or he doesn't have a finish that kind of doesn't make him look the best. And all the negatives they say are correct. His car mode looks like the Oscar Mayer Arena Mobile. Everything is true. But when I would go to pick up a toy and play with a Transformer, it's always this guy. For some reason, he's so fun to me. I really love his articulation. I love posing him with the sword, with the gun. I love, you can get through the transformation if you look at it with a review. I love his helicopter mode. I like his bot mode, even though some of the proportions are off. I just grabbed this toy. This is like my go-to toy when I want to grab and mess around with a transforming toy. And I love this guy. Like, he's not, in a lot of ways, he's probably the worst toy in the most surprisingly great toy category, but he's the funnest toy to me. He's the one. He's like that old car that everybody wonders why you don't keep, why you keep, and it's just a joy to drive, and they'll never understand because they don't get a chance to drive it. And also, I think now he's on sale for $59 at BBTS. So for that price, man, this guy's a steal. And let's be honest, when will we get another Sandstorm? So my most surprisingly great toy of 2017 is Unique Toys Swatter, or they Sandstorm. I just love them. Number 3 on my most disappointing purchases of 2017, Make Toys Downbeat, or their version of Jazz. This figure's pretty good. I mean, it has flaws in the chest and in the shoulders, but my biggest gripe with this toy is that it doesn't feel like the last Jazz I ever need. I got it, played with it for a day or two, put it up on the shelf, and was like, it's okay. It's a masterpiece, I guess what other people will say. I wanted to buy this and love this like I do with Bad Cube Sun Surge, and feel like no matter what Takara, what anybody else does, this could be the final Jazz I ever get. Just like Sun Surge, Takara released their Sunstreaker, and like, I don't see, it's better. Takara's better than Sun Surge, but I don't know how much better. And I don't know if I need another Sunstreaker representation. With this one, I'm waiting for another representation of Jazz, because it's just like, if Takara does one, I'm dropping this at a moment's notice and getting that version. So Number 3 for my most disappointing purchases of 2017, Make Toys Downbeat of the Jazz. Number 2 in my most disappointing purchases of 2017, Fans Toys Coupe of their Cup. Look, we give Fans Toys all the credit, and they deserve a lot of credit because they make amazing figures, but we can't give them credit without placing blame where it's necessary. And this guy looks good. Like, you can't say anything. The materials are great. Built like a rock. Fans Toys always does what Fans Toys does. But the transformation on this thing sucks so bad. And I can't give him all this credit without taking off points for transformation. And so when I got him, his shelf presence is great. But when I transformed, I was like, man, I'm so over this. And so I feel like his backpack is a little in your face or whatever. But just by and large, I was a little left disappointed in this guy. And for that reason, Fans Toys Coupe is my number 2 most disappointing figure of 2017. My most disappointing toy in 2017 is the Transform Missions Havoc or their Minosaur. And this is only for combined mode. And the thing is, it's such a thin line between being the perfect toy and being a disappointing toy. Because you can't be disappointment without some level of expectation. And this thing is perfect individually. All the bots are perfect. Combined, it's wonderful. It just has one major flaw. That major flaw is the feet. They can hardly stand. And if this thing could stand, this would be toy of the year without a doubt for me. This thing is wonderful. It just has one major flaw. And you see how I have to kind of tilt the left foot up just to get it to stand? It's very troublesome, very frustrating to stand. If this thing stood, it would be perfect. But since it doesn't stand, it is the most disappointing most disappointing purchase I made in 2017. Number 4 on my worst purchases of 2017 is Open and Play Big Spring. And this is just a quintessential example of a great idea being horribly executed. I mean, having a masterpiece line or masterpiece type style toy, for a cheap price, $80, reasonably cheap for a masterpiece of this size. I think is a great way for people who are not in masterpieces to try it out, get going. And the whole concept just Open and Play is meant to be played with, not necessarily stood in the shelf and that's it. Think it's all a great idea, but is build quality. Look at this. This doesn't lock in. I think that outside of the face sculpt, the second most important thing on the body is its torso. And look at that. Doesn't lock in. So it's hard to really get any good poses. You see the poses I got in it. And it's hard to get into really good poses and make him look serious with the torso being as loose and wobbly as it is. Now, I would much rather have this for $30 than I would this for $80. And I'm shaking them the same with the same amount of force. And so Open and Play, I think that I want them to succeed because I think they have you see it's just all going to crap. They have a good idea, but they need to spend a little more time on build quality and maybe not put in as many accessories because the missile and the gun suck. The sword is nice, but the missile and the gun suck. But my number 4, Open and Play Big Spring. He just needs to be better built. Number 3 for my worst purchases of 2017, MMC's Turban, or their version of IDW World. Look, this toy is built well, it's well painted. It's not a bad toy, but it doesn't look like World. And MMC has been doing that. I think Skullface talked about it, but they've been doing this a lot lately where they try to get as many uses of the mold as they can. And it's not like the Seekers where they all look the same, just as different colors. They did him in, I think, Obsidian. And in my opinion, World is the premier character. In IDW, he is top 5, arguably top 3 most interesting characters in the whole More Than Meets the Eye Lost Light comic. So you get this guy right. I'm kind of familiar with Obsidian or whoever, I think from Beast Machines, but to me, World is the more popular character. That is the character you get right. and then you shoehorn Obsidian to fit into it. So my biggest problem with this character is it doesn't look like the source material, and we've gotten in third party we've gotten to a point where you can't afford to not have a premier character not look like the source material. So for that reason, this is my number 3 worst purchase of 2017 IDW World MMC's Turban. My number 2 worst purchase of 2017, the Fans Project's Film Dinobots. Nothing signifies the fall of grace of Fans Project quite like these Dinobots. These ladies here are lazily built. And in 2017, something being lazily designed, engineered, built, just laziness is something that we don't have to tolerate in the collecting community. And we talked about, like, if you're going to do this already niche collection, this scale is niche, this kind of high-end chug collection, and you're going to charge $70, you need to have better design, better articulation, better paint, better everything. And if you look at the Dinobot mode, you see the hand hanging from right here, not even hidden. It barely stands. It's just squatting right here. And when you transform them, it's kibble hanging all between them. It has some good accessories, but, you know, not good enough to justify $70 when you can get Generations Brainstorm for like $30. And Takara and Hasbro are making a cheaper chug line anyway. So if you're going to be in this niche market, this high-end chug market, you need to be able to provide a top-notch product. And we're going to see a high-end chug product that's top-notch soon in our best toys of 2017. But these things were lazily engineered, designed, built. And laziness is something we don't need to tolerate. We won't tolerate. We've gotten too good as a community. Third party makes too many good toys. Hasbro makes too many toys. Takara makes too many toys to accept laziness. That's the cardinal sin in 2017 moving forward with toys. Lazy. My worst purchase of 2017 by far is MMC/Ocular Max Aegis, their version of Trailbreaker. And this figure is crap. It's built like crap. It looks okay, not great. Not top-notch materials, but it's built like crap. Look at this. One transformation. This came out the box like this. This. When I was transforming it, this came off. Man, this was pure crap. And from a company who has such a great reputation like MMC, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable for anybody, but even more so a company that's supposed to be a great company. I've never thrown a Transformer away. I always give them away to somebody, maybe a kid or a friend who just want to play around. But this is the first time in my life, especially in my collecting life, that I would throw a Transformer away. MMC Ocular Max Aegis is the worst toy I bought this year, and probably the worst collectible I've bought in my lifetime. So it gets the Go in the Trash award. It's crap. It's pure crap. And I'm finna throw it away now and put it out of its misery. Number 5 on my best purchases of 2017, Masterpiece Grapple. This guy's amazing. Great accessories, great paint, great finish, great transformation. If you don't know, sorry about the camera shaking. His back cleans up better than everybody. And just I know they're going the way of the cartoon route, and some of the characters fit more into that toony look than others. And I think he's one of the guys who fits into that toony look. And I just think he's the definition of a masterpiece. I mean, he exudes grapple. He has great accessories. He has great articulation, and they really did a great job of capturing the character with this piece. So my number 5 best purchase of 2017 is the Masterpiece Grapple. Number 4 of my best purchases of 2017, the Fans Toys Silver and Soar, the version of Snarl and Swoop. And much like John Wick, in the first John Wick, when the Russian guy was telling his son that their empire was built on the moves John Wick made, Fans Toys, in my opinion, their reputation was built on how great the whole Iron Dinobots line was, but especially these two guys. They're heavy, they're painted, they have interesting transformation. They exude the two characters better than any representation of Dinobots I've seen come along, and they are arguably perfect. Like, the only problem is that you had to replace the leg part in swoop or soar. And for me, I replaced the head in snarl or sever. But other than that, these guys are fantastic. And number 3 in my best purchase of the 2017, MMC's quarter of their version of Torn. If you saw this whole review, you saw we talked about how World didn't look like World. The MMC World, he didn't look like World. So everything they got wrong with him, they got right with this guy. This guy exudes Torn. He's great paint. He has great paint, great articulation, a fun, interesting yet simple transformation, and he just exudes. He's everything that's right with the reformatted line is represented in him and Overlord. He's such an amazingly great toy. I don't know if you're not an IDW fan, get him. He's one of the keystone characters in the More Than Meets the Eye Lost Light comics. If you get into read that comic, if you like Transformers, and you will see why this guy is such a keystone character, and you will definitely want to add him to your collection. And when you add him to your collection, you won't be disappointed. This is a great job, MMC. I love the way the reformatted line is going. Just keep making characters who look like they're comic book representations, as evidenced by this guy in Overlord. Great. My number 2 best purchase of 2017 is the whole Make Toys Cross Dimension line. Their Rider, Despotron, their Megatron, their Striker Manus, their Prime, and their Striker Noir, their Black Prime, or their Nemesis Prime. I tried to get a dynamic pose to show how great these guys are. We just talked about high-end Chug when we talked about the Fans Project Dinobots, and how that's in my opinion, that line is a fail. If you're going to spend $80 for a Chug, this is what you want to spend your $80 on. These guys have great paint, as you can see, great articulation, great accessories. And I know this cross-dimension line is a line where Make Toys let their designers kind of, flash their wings, where they didn't have to be tied to a particular select representation of a character. And they did a really great job. These guys have a action figure element better than any toy in my collection. Transformers and non-Transformers, even though I only have like 4 non-Transformers in my collection. But these guys they're just wonderful. The only reason they aren't my number 1 toy of the year is because I'm more of in the Masterpiece line, and I'm gonna give it to a Masterpiece bot just because that's what I'm into, and I was truly wowed by this Masterpiece bot when I bought them. But these guys are amazing. This honestly could be the best toy of the year for me, and it's a slim. And my best purchase of 2017 is the Fans Toys Stomp, their version of Sludge. We already talked about with the other Dinobots that were number 4 about how Fans Toys' reputation is based, in my opinion, primarily on their great work on their Dinobots. And this guy's the best out of all of them. And when I picked him up, there's certain times you remember when you pick up a Transformer. I remember when I picked up Prime MP10 for the first time. I remember I picked up the first Optimus Prime back as a kid. I remember when I picked up Fans Toys Spring, I was like, whoa, how heavy he is. Even the Toy World Coneheads, I remember picking them up. And when I picked this guy up, I was like, whoa, he's heavy. He's got great materials. He has great articulation for his size, a great transformation, excellent paint, good accessories, a great alt mold, a great root mold. And I know Fans Toys always get kills for their face sculpt, but this is probably the best face sculpt they've done up until the Spring in the Cup. This guy is all this good. The representation of all that we love about Fans Toys is on display with this guy. He is perfect. I don't think there's anything about him I would change. Not one thing about him. I could say that this is a perfect toy, and I very rarely use that. You can always find something negative about a toy, but his size, his paint, his articulation, his sculpt in both modes, I don't have anything to complain about. So without any more being said, Fans Toys Stomp, their Sludge, is the best purchase I made in 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope 2018 gives you everything you want, and I hope you have increased your collections in whatever way you want to increase them in. Thank you guys for watching again. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe.